What up, YouTube? So today's gonna be part two of the K20z1 versus K20a2, and today we're just gonna be going over how to pretty much legalize your K series if you got caught by CHP or you're sent to referee. Most likely your setup will look like this, pretty much all modified. Nothing's really actually legal on it, especially headers, catless. And I mean, modified manifold, this wouldn't actually pass because this isn't the stock one. They do look up everything, like there's no getting away. Like this obviously has a code on it that says RBC on it and everything. So they look at every single code. They look at your head. They look at the year. You gotta have everything on point. So let's start off with why this manifold isn't gonna work, because it's missing a lot of the stuff for the idling and everything. This has been blocked off. So as you can see from the stock one, the things that it is missing. This is the actual stock manifold. Like I said, they'll look for PRB just to make sure this is the stock manifold. You have to have your idle air assist all right here. Stock as well. Stock throttle body. Pretty much, like I said, the only thing you can have is an intake with the carb number. As far as the headers, they do have to be stock. So this is the stock RSX manifold. If you've seen my other ones using a TSX, that one doesn't work. They want to see completely stock. So the only way to get this motor to fit the RSX header is to actually tilt it. I would recommend using Hasport mounts, or there's other dual stage mounts available. But as far as that, yeah, that's definitely what you're going to have to use. You're going to have your full evap system working. So this is ran all the way to the back of the car. I'll show you where I put the evap box, which is right next to the stock fuel tank. So this is the evap box, and pretty much everything ran to the actual stock gas tank. That's why it kind of hangs a little low. This is the stock muffler on here as well. I would recommend using that to keep the decimals down. This car has a stock SI muffler, so that's probably the only legal thing that would pass. Now as far as like all your pulley setups, I mean, you don't have to run power steering or anything. They're not looking for anything like that. As far as aftermarket parts, I would probably run everything stock, just so you don't have to keep coming back and forth to the state ref. Injectors have to be stock. ECU has to be stock. You can't run this fuel system like this. That's an instant fail as well. As you can see, this one doesn't even have one because it's literally running just straight to the gas tank, which is pretty much regulated inside of there. Also, VINs must match. It'll be a lot easier that way. Both of these VINs match on this car, same as this one. So I would recommend getting the complete car, because they do want to see paperwork and everything, as far as it's going to be actually on your paperwork as a swap car. So that's a main thing. I know some people will say I got a tranny and motor. It's not going to work like that unless you actually have full paperwork. One reason why I don't do K24s is because they're drive-by throttle, and it's just a lot more complicated with those and running all that system on these cars. So to me, I think K20 is just a lot easier. It's still cable. The K20z3 is a drive-by throttle as well, and they use a totally different ECU and all that stuff. So yeah, that's a whole nother different swap. That's why I stick to the K20 A3 can work as well, A2, and then the Z1. As far as, let's see, so as far as your cooling system, that's okay. You can run any type of that, but as you can see, this one doesn't have a fan switch ran on it because it's just grounded, which runs all the time. I ran this one just like factory, so this fan switch is right here, stock. As far as like I said, hydraulic line, little stuff like that isn't necessary. They're not really looking at all that. They're pretty much just making sure everything is factory and stock. As far as from the ECU has to match as well. you have to have the motor swap. Even for people that have been asking me for like B series, if it's not newer or the same year, they'll instantly fail you. So as far as B series, yeah, you're gonna have to get a newer year for as far as those motors. Um, Anything else? Like I said, any aftermarket stuff as far as shifting and everything, I don't think they're really gonna look at. But one thing, like I said, is VINs and pink slip. Make sure you have the full paperwork to the car and everything, or at least take a copy of it before you, if the car is crashed or whatever, if you're gonna scrap it, at least try to keep that because that's gonna be paperwork going with you on the bar. Um, you don't want to be running Honda or K-Tuner or anything like that. Like I said, in order for this one, we'd probably have to go get just '05 to '06 ECU. You can't run '02 to '04 on this if you're trying to do a bar because, like I said, they look up all the codes. And '05, '06 actually has a different '02 sensor. So that, like I said, everything will come up. Everything has to be perfect. Also, this doesn't have any '02 sensors. We're just running it on the loop right now. So this car actually has the stock cat. Um, with both '02 sensors, with the stock downpipe. Piping doesn't really matter. I would keep it around at least 2.5 at least, or 2.25. Yeah, other than that, like I said, just have everything functionally. I would run the heater hoses and everything. I mean, you probably could delete it, but the more stuff that's factory on here, looking will get you to pass. So as you can see on this one, I tapped the temperature right into the actual water neck housing because I can't delete this. On this car, I would have to do the same. So most people just get the adapter and run it off of that. But in order for this to pass actually state ref, I would have to do the same as the other car. So I'd have to put this all back to stock manifold. Like I said, a legal intake. I'd have to put the actual fuel tank on here as well with that evap, just like I did on that car. Other than that, it's pretty much keep it all factory as possible, and you can pretty much pass. It might seem like a lot, but if you already have the car swapped, it's pretty much just put in the gas tank, the evap, and like I said, this one I'd have to change the mounts as well because these aren't dual stage, so this wouldn't actually work on trying to tilt the motor back. I'd have to buy different mounts as well. Other than that, guys, like I said, they check for every single code on here. So if anything is off, well, first of all, you actually have to go through Acura now. Acura will have to pass your car first before you can even go to the state referee. So make sure, like I said, everything is perfect because if they fail you, then you won't even actually get your appointment to go to the California State Bar. So make sure all your monitors are set as well before you go, and make sure there's no check engine lights. As soon as you see a check engine light, they'll fail you instantly. They fail you on a lot of stuff if you just don't have your swap on point. So make sure you go over everything, make sure everything is good, and you should be able to pass like no problem. They're really cool about it, but you have to really be on your game when you're doing it because any little thing that they don't like or you're not running is just gonna fail you. So also make sure you have this and stuff. Everything for your evap has to be on here and functioning. If your monitors aren't set, I wouldn't even try to attempt to take it to the actual bar unless you actually can figure that out and make sure that everything is good. It's just a lot easier this way because once you get into the system, there's pretty much no going back unless you're just gonna get rid of the shell. Because like I said, once you start all the paperwork and getting into the process, you're pretty much in it. Unless you're gonna completely go back, install your mount, and just go single cam again. That's pretty much the best way to do it. So yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it on how to pass California State Bar with the illegal setup like this. And if you want to actually go through with it and get it done, it is worth it, because after that you can't really be messed with. And when you have that sticker, you could pretty much go K24, I guess. I think as long as you uh, keep your monitor set and everything, I think the taking it to a smog station will be okay. But actually reffing it is a whole nother different game. So if you do want to go K24, I'd recommend just doing maybe like a base EP3 swap or base RSX to keep it cheap. And once it all passes, then you can drop your K24. And like I said, if you take it to smog, most people, as long as it doesn't have any check engine lights and your monitors are set, then you should be good. So yeah, that's my opinion on doing California State Bar. If you have any more questions, just leave a comment and I'll try to hit you back up. Next video, we'll be talking about how to pretty much get the best performance out of both engines, especially with, like I said, this is the perfect engine. It has headers, upgraded manifold, little simple bolt-ons that you can do to actually make this motor a lot more powerful as well. So stay tuned for the next video, guys. If you haven't, like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you on the next video.